Hello, friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel Simply Stocks. And today I'm going to talk about Piramal Enterprises. Will the downside avert at the moment or will it continue to fall? So let's understand about the business. Let's get started. First of all, a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation, and people taking any position into any share that I talk about should do that with their own due diligence and research. And I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. Before I start with the analysis of Piramal Enterprises, here's a small request that kindly support me on Patreon, and once your support comes in, I'll make better videos on YouTube. And once I have 100 patrons, I'll start with an education course on investment and trading for no additional fee on YouTube. I cannot start with the join button as everybody is saying, as it requires around 30,000 subscribers. So kindly support me through Patreon as I require capital to continue and extend this channel further. Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot for those who have supported me on Patreon. There are a number of people who are on Patreon, and I have made a lot of articles, written a lot of articles on stocks and markets. Go ahead and watch that, as they are detailed analysis of all the stocks. Now about Piramal Enterprises. This was established in 1989, and it is a global conglomerate. They are into real estate, healthcare, drug discovery, finance, and many more things. Majorly, they are into real estate and finance and giving financial loans, etc. And they have a robust management who have kept on delivering even in difficult markets. And the stock has risen many folds over the last 7-8 years. The market cap of the company currently is around 33,000 crore, and people have liked this stock during the 2015 to 2018 bull run. If you look at the financials of the company, then the sales are up around 8% year on year if you look at the third quarter numbers, and the profit growth has been around 15%. The debt is high, but that is understandable because they are into the business of lending, and anyone except for a few companies who are into lending have a high debt. But the major concern for the company is the return on equity, which is only at around 7.5%. It is in mid single digit, whereas the operating profit margin is only at around 2%. So that tells you that the company is not quite doing operationally that well as other financial or NBFC companies are doing. It was doing margins of around 8-9% earlier, 2-3 years ago. Now it has come down to around 2%, and that is a cause for concern. If you look at the performance of the stock is down more than 70% in the last 2 years, and with today's correction that is taking place in the market, it is down more than 75%. The numbers have been relatively strong, although the return ratios and the margins are very subdued, and probably this is the reason people are staying away from Piramal Enterprises, and people are staying away from many of the NBFCs or finance type of stocks because of what has happened with Yes Bank, what has gone on with other one or two banks outside the market, and what is happening with the liquidity problems globally in the market, and the fact that the market is going down sharply. People are staying away from risky assets or risky stocks such as finance stocks. Look at all the banks where they are headed here in India, and so that's why people are not getting the vibe to invest into Piramal at the moment. It is trading at around 15 times earnings at the moment. It would become even cheaper after today's fall. I'm seeing that the market is down around 200 to 50 points even today. There is high DII and promoter holding, and only 11% free float is there. So that is some sort of a comfort that 80-89% holding is with the strong hands, and the dividend yield is pretty good. So that is also a positive. What needs to be done? It can be accumulated. It is a very good conglomerate, and the management quality is pretty good. The results have been good and strong. The return ratios are low, but that could change once the economy turn around. But I'm saying can be accumulated. It is not a big buy at these prices. We could see further downside. I thought 10,200, 250, 300 would be a sort of a bottom, but this is going down further. We could be headed to 9500 from here, so this could easily fall another 10%. So yes, it can be accumulated, but you can easily see a 10-15% further fall in Piramal Enterprises, and we could see sub 1000 levels in Piramal Enterprises very soon. Economic recovery is necessary for the stock to really do well, and can be accumulated 10-15% at these levels, 10-15% on a 20% downside, and so on and so forth. But have a good 3 to 5 year time frame at least for your prices to come back, because this fall in the markets is not going to stop pretty soon. Probably 9700 is the next stop we can look at, where it could the fall could arrest. If you look at the technicals of the company, then the short term support, as I made this video, was around 1350, 1365, and the long term support was around 1200. I think both these levels are broken. So we are looking at something like 980 and then around 880 levels. So we are looking at around 880 levels. When I made this video, the stock was around 1370, 1380. Yeah, this was about 4 or 5 days back. So you have to take that into consideration. The 200 DMA is around 1700. It is far away from there. These are very attractive levels to buy into these kind of stocks, but we don't know when the fall will end. So that is one thing that you need to take into account when you're buying into it. For instance, I bought into FL India at around 1700. It is now at 1400, and I don't know, it would go to 1000, but it is a very good stock to invest into, and I bought into it when the stock has already fallen 30%. So that stock is down something like 40% from its highs. So one has to take cognizant of the fact that the market is extremely volatile on the downside, and we could see further lower levels in the stocks. The stock is down already 60% in the last 2 years, not 6 months, but in the last 2 years it is down more than 70%, and we'll see breakout only above 1760 levels. So what needs to be done? In my opinion, you can buy as an SIP. So buy 10% every month from here on in, and probably in the next 3 months it will this fall will end. And once the market starts going up, the stock going starts going up, buy more. So let the market and the stock correct and bottom out, and then buy more. At this point of time, you buy less. So 5-10% investment would be good. Do not buy in one go, and keep track of numbers. If numbers deteriorate further, do not buy further, probably sell into the stock. So always have a 20-30% stop loss before you are trying to get into any kind of stock, whether long term or short term. You can look for other consumption plays also, consumption plays which are pure consumption, such as FMCG, paints. You can have stocks which are into consumer goods, white goods, so on and so forth, consumer durables, etc. Those are my favorite sectors to get into, rather than getting into financials or NBFC kind of stocks, and have less than 5% exposure in such companies. So this was my video on Piramal Enterprises. Please like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so that you can get my videos straight away when I post it. Thanks a lot for watching.